Praise God, look fly, child of the Most High. Holy Spirit moving with us, got the gang synchronized. All the boats rise with the tides, heard it's going up. Don't be mad I'm running late, be happy that I'm showing up.
Hello guys, this is long overdue, but welcome to the Unfiltered Wizdom podcast. You know, look, this don't look like a podcast right now. We sitting in the dining room of my mama's house, and we gonna make fetch happen, because you know I basically tried to wait until I had all the equipment, everything in order. I wanted certain setups, I wanted a certain space, but like, why not start now? Like, why not? And that question was asked to me earlier in my head, like, why not? Like, everybody is comfortable being in front of the camera. I'm psyching myself out, and honestly it felt like I was blocking a blessing. So here we are, we're starting. And yeah, but the name of this podcast is Unfiltered Wizdom. I had a TikTok name. I still have the TikTok, I just haven't been on there because TikTok, they be acting weird. I had a podcast named Wisdom Overload, and I wanted to name the podcast Wisdom Overload, but I was like, I don't know about that. Like, I mean, I could, it's a cool name, but then like, I don't know, I was kind of working with like logos and stuff like that, and then like, I don't know, Unfiltered Wizdom kind of fit me better. So yeah, this is the Unfiltered Wizdom podcast. Excuse me, I have some questions here just to like be icebreakers. Ignore any noise outside, they're doing construction. I feel like my phone is sliding. I started with no equipment because, yeah, we're just starting, because why not? It'll come. God's going to provide. And yeah, he always does. But we're just going to start with some questions. Just basically getting everybody acquainted with who I am, because I'm not going to lie, I can't just take advice from no random person, especially not knowing their background, why they're doing it, who they're doing it for. Also, I wear glasses, but the way they were glaring, like, I gotta look at it just was not, it was just rubbing me the wrong way. So like, if it looked like I look weird, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but that's just what's happening right now. But I got like 6 questions I'm gonna try to answer, and yeah, we're gonna jump right into that right now. The first question is, who are you and what inspired you to start this podcast? I am Makai Dean. I have 2 last names. If you know my first last name, you really know me, but I go by Makai Dean. But that's for them people out there that know me. But I'm a 22-year-old. I go to Duquesne University. I'm studying psychology, which is new, but it's definitely dope down there. That's an experience in itself. What inspired me to start this podcast? I feel like there's a lot that inspired me to start this podcast. For one, I have gone through so much in my lifetime and don't feel like I've had the support that was needed, or that there was a lot of safe spaces in order for me to express certain things. So that's one of the main reasons. Another reason, I didn't go over these questions before. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I asked AI to create some questions for me, and I didn't even go over them. I'm just going over them now. So these are all honest answers. But what inspired me? I said the first part. I felt like there was a lack of, not support, but a safe space to be myself, to express myself, to be heard and understood. So that's one of the main reasons. Another reason is I'm just passionate about stuff. I'm passionate about wisdom. I'm passionate about learning stuff. I'm passionate about hearing people's stories, listening to people's stories, helping people out. Like, that's just a passion of mine. So I originally started a podcast. I think I said that. I started the podcast named, I had a TikTok page named Wisdom Overload. And that's kind of where it started. I basically just watched podcasts all day long, posted clips and stuff like that. And like, I had a decent following and stuff like that. Like, people really enjoyed what they were seeing, the type of information and the videos I was putting out. And I was like, wait, why post other people's stuff when I could do it? When I could do it for free? And then make money off of it. But it's not about the money. It's a passion of mine. But that's kind of what that started. I hope I answered that question good enough for you guys. This is my first video, so bear with me. I hope you guys give me grace. Second question is, what can listeners expect from this podcast? What can you expect? I don't know what you can expect. I don't know what we can expect yet. I feel like there's a lot of avenues this place or this podcast could go. And I kind of don't want to limit myself in those aspects. Like, I'm a former athlete. I just had a brain freeze and I ain't even drink nothing. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm a student. I'm gonna just go with a student. That's not the word I was looking for. I'm a student, former athlete. I'm a young Black woman. I'm from the hood. And there's just so many different ways or avenues that I could travel down with those topics. And I feel like sports, I love music, I love reading, I love television. I do want this to be serious. I do want it to have a great message and everything else, but I also want it to be fun. I want it to be open. I want it to be free. But I also want to touch on very serious topics and stuff like that. But we're going to talk about just existing as who we are, learning who we are, because I really don't know if we ever really figure that out. At least at my 22 years in age, I still don't know who I am. It's changing. I'm going through a lot of changes right now specifically too. So we're all figuring each other out, figuring ourselves out. It's hard to figure other people out if we don't know ourselves, but it's a work in progress. I don't know about frequency. I don't know about format. Right now, I'm kind of just introducing myself, but I will say in the future, I do have a vision, and I've been having this vision, but if I don't start it, how am I going to get there? So we're starting now, but I definitely want to have some dope people on the podcast. I've been connected with some dope people. I've done a few panels talking to Black youth, and there's a couple people on some panels, not even a couple people. Like, if I could have a podcast with each separate panel, like everybody, I would do it. But I know for a fact I have a few people in mind that I definitely want to sit down and just have one-on-one with, because some of these stories are just so amazing. The people that I've come in contact with, the things that they are doing in the community, like, it's dope. And I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I'm excited. The third question. I ain't gonna lie. They be snaking ChatGPT. It's about how you use it. You're not supposed to cheat in school. Don't have dumb people typing your whole essay. But it's very useful, because this question, it's a good question. And I wouldn't have been able to come up with it. But it's question 3. How does your background in psychology influence the way you see the world and approach discussions? Whew, that was deep. I recently just switched my major to psychology this semester. So it's deep. And I've taken like 2 or 3 classes prior to this actual semester that dealt with psychology. And actually my first class that I fell in love with on campus was Psych 101. Our professor was dope, but the human mind is so complex. Like, what can I take away from that class? Nature versus nurture. That's like one of my favorite things. Like, we are all raised different. We all have different experiences. And the way we're brought up, the way we're brought up basically has a great impact on who we are. So, like, I was raised a certain way, and I can't tell Timmy from across town how to feel or why this is wrong or etc., because we were raised 2 different ways. So, like, it's a learning thing. Like, nature versus nurture is super deep. Like, I don't even feel like I'm doing it justice, because I'm just trying to, like, answer this question. But I think, like, the biggest takeaway is just to give people grace. Like, grace is necessary. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's existence is perfect. Our upbringings aren't perfect. The decisions we make aren't perfect. Like, we are all imperfect, and that's like one of the most important things. So what I say I would take from my background in psychology is just to give people grace, and that we are all learning. We are all experiencing this thing, life, at different rates, different speeds, but we are all human. So I'll say that. I hope that was a good answer. Question 4. Why is giving back to the community and making an impact important to you? Yo, these questions is crazy. I just love it. Like, it's just, I'll give you an example. Today is March 14th, Friday of 2025. I just left the Willing Hill Student Summit, and shout out to the Willing Hill Student Summit, year 6 annual multi-district summit that they just held today. And honestly, I would say that probably motivated me to do this, because seeing kids, seeing how they interact, seeing them have joy and passion behind something that they do, it's surreal. Like, I say, all my teachers said that I should have been a teacher. I don't know if I like kids that much to be a teacher, but I do genuinely find a joy in that. Like, giving back, seeing how people are impacted. Even whenever I spoke on the panels for mental health, like, I can't even explain the feeling. Like, it just brings me joy. It brings me peace. It makes me feel like I'm actually doing something, or I'm actually giving back to people, trying to make a better space in this world. And yeah, like, that's just important to me. Helping other people out, like giving kids advice. Like, if I messed up and I know I messed up and I see you doing the same things that could potentially lead you to mess up, like, it's dope being able to have that hindsight and being able to help somebody else not have those problems. Like, this, it's just a dope experience for me. Like, it just genuinely brings me joy. Question 5. What challenges or experiences have shaped your perspective and the topics you want to discuss? That's deep. That's deep. That's a whole question of itself. We could do a whole video on that one question. All right, I gotta read it again. What challenges or experiences have shaped your perspective and the topics you want to discuss? Well, for one, I'll be blunt. I'm from the hood. And I'm not trying to be funny by saying that, but like, excuse my language, there's some real gangster shit that go on in the hood, and it's just like that. Like, I'm trying to think what year that was. 2006. If I'm 22 now, I'll be 23. Ooh, that's why math ain't my thing. All right, come on now. 23 minus 3 is 20. 20 minus 3 is 17. So 17 years ago. Bro, what? Wait, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Hold on. I just really messed myself up. I need like a pen or something. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I had to take a math class because I switched my major, and it's really kicking my ass. Like, unbelievable. Sorry. We gotta do this real quick, cause and this is, I'm slow for real, yeah. I'm really slow for real. And you know what's crazy? I subtracted the year. Bruh. We just gonna leave that alone. Anyways, I don't even know I was trying to do the math at this point. But yeah, that's a fun fact about me. I can read. I can write you the best paper. Shoot, I might be able to do science. I can't do math. I could do it. I'm doing a decent job, I feel like, but yeah, that's a fun fact about me. Math is not my strong suit, and I don't like what I just did there, because I don't even know why I was trying to do math with that. But the question is, what challenges or experience have shaped your perspective? And that's what was happening. So in 2006, I did the math so wrong. I'm so goofy. I was 4. I should have just added my birth. Yeah, we're good. 2006, my uncle died. He didn't die. He got murdered. Literally, the spot he got murdered in, I've walked over for most of my life. Literally, I probably see the spot every single day. I was 4 years old. I believe that was like my first funeral that I could remember, but I know that it really jarred my mom. And seeing her like that, not at the time, like, you're a kid, like, I'm 4, like, I don't really think we kind of internalize stuff, but even like with psychology, like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in our childhood that kind of like just stays in our subconscious. Like, we don't really notice it, but like, say you go to therapy and they start unpacking things, and it's like, oh, certain things start coming to surface. Like, that was a moment that really changed me. And that happened, and that was gun violence. And then like a few years later, one of my best friend's moms was murdered. And that funeral, like, I believe that was the first time I ever cried about somebody dying. And it's making me emotional a little bit, but the gun violence and the stuff that we were privy to really impact me. It really impacted everything and every way I moved and just how I think. Like, I'm not comfortable anywhere I go. I don't care if I'm in where I work down at Acrisure Stadium. I don't care if I'm in there. If somebody's walking too close behind me, or if somebody's staring at me a certain way, like, I'm on guard, but that's just the way of our community. So, like, that stuff really shaped me early on. And, like, I wasn't even 10. I think I was in second grade when my best friend's mom passed or was murdered. I need to stop saying passed because they were taken. My uncle, I was 4. So, like, under the age of 10, I don't really remember anything else. I know people died from guns. Boom. So I go to high school, Willing Hill. Shout out to Woody, yo. Woody doing a thing. Shout out to Woody. I have a great love for that school. I do. High school, I was started 9th grade in 2016 and I graduated in 2020. Tough year for me, but throughout those years, we lost, I believe, 18 students to gun violence, like our peers. And we didn't have the resources. We didn't have anybody to talk to. Like, a lot of stuff was put into place. Like, the Willing Hill Student Summit is a result of us losing almost 20 kids, if we didn't lose 20 kids. And those were just kids that were enrolled in school, like, let alone the stuff that was going on in the hood. So, like, that impacted us. And then, like, the cherry on top, and it's not a cherry, I believe Antoine Rose was, like, the 18th one. And that's when change started to happen. And it was a lot. Like, I remember that day. If you're from Pittsburgh, Jimmy Wapo got killed and Antoine Rose. And it was like we were in a time warp zone. And I feel like the way I operate, everything I do till this day, is a result of those situations. And I don't know how we can't not talk about it. Like, my perspective, like, it's a deep question. Like, it's not who I am, it's where I'm from. But I can't unsee that. Like, I can't unsee that. Like, I'll never unsee that. It'll never be that real to me. Like, or not that real. It'll never not be real to me. Like, that's a problem. And, like, we're still dealing with it. Like, last year, down the street, and, like, thank God that my family is protected, my family is safe, and that we have been kept. But I literally seen a girl that went to Willing Hills, and, like, you know how you see kids and stuff outside, and, like, not to say they were into something, but for whatever reason, I just paid attention to that group of little girls. But they was, like, outside lingering. Like, I went to a couple stores, I came back, they still outside and stuff. But, like, a few hours later, big kids. Like, my mom had ended up going to Walmart, and the way she went, like, we have a library and there's a hoop down there. There's just big kids down there hooping, big kids outside. Come, like, 8, 9 o'clock, there's gunshots out by our house. Turns out one of the little girls I seen earlier in the day gets killed over a fight. And, like, these are women. And, like, over the years, like, it's always like, oh, we're like, oh, men and guns and men are dying. Like, yes, black men are dying. Everybody's dying from gun violence. But it's the women, too, now. Like, if we pay attention, like, if you're from Pittsburgh and you watch the news, like, women are getting killed with guns just as much as men, if not more. And I'm not saying that more in general, but, like, I'm trying to think specifically. I don't know if it was 2022 or 2023. For the first, like, month of the year, it was all women getting popped. Excuse my language. They were getting murdered. And it's just not something, like, that's the climate that we're in. And I don't know. I want it to stop. I want it to change. But I can try. I don't think I can do it by myself. I feel like it's a work in progress, but yeah, that's something that shaped my perspective. And honestly, we might definitely come back to that question in the future, because I don't even think I kind of gathered all my thoughts, and it's just an introductory. I ain't cry though, so that's a sign. I ain't cry. That's okay. Question 6, last question. What do you hope listeners take from this podcast? What I hope listeners take from this podcast is that it's okay to be you. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to not have. It's okay to go through things. And it's okay to want help. I want you guys to take whatever you need from it. Literally, like, I want you guys to be like, okay, I could come here. I know I'm going to get a good laugh, and I know I'm going to get some gems. I know I'm gonna hear something that she went through, or this person that was on this podcast went through, and I could take from that, and I could learn from that. Like, that's my goal. I just want you guys to learn. And yeah, like, it's unfiltered wisdom. Like, wisdom can come from anything. I could listen to a song, I could hear a gem, I could watch a YouTube video. Wisdom is all around us. And honestly, that's the thing. I want y'all to take the wisdom, because wisdom's all around us. I want us to be intuitive, and I want us to be dope. Oh, man, that's crazy. I didn't think I would talk this long, but I think that's the first video in the books. And it's 20 minutes long, too. I gotta rewatch this. I don't know if I'm gonna post this joint, but cheers to new beginnings. Cheers to jumping the gun. Cheers to learning, you know? I'm Makai Dean, you dig? It sounds so funny saying my name so serious, but that's who I am. That's who I'm learning. That's who I'm learning to be. And this is Unfiltered Wisdom Podcast, you know? I hope y'all like the background, because this might be the background for a little minute until we get stuff organized, till we get stuff, you dig? But yeah, I appreciate you guys listening. And yeah, I don't know what to say. Have a great one. Stay blessed, stay energized, and keep learning.
Fresh out the Garden of Eden. I lean on the rod like a Steven. All in my biz, it ain't even.